Good morning to all. In our previous lectures, we have done the procedure and numerical for the static analysis. In this lecture, we will study about the dynamic analysis. Initially, I will tell you what are the difference between the code 2002 and 2016 1993 in terms of dynamic analysis. Then we will study the detailed procedure how to solve a problem using the dynamic analysis. Now, if we talk about the difference between the two recent codes IS 1893 2002 and 2016. 2002 told us dynamic analysis shall be performed to obtain the design seismic force and its distribution to different levels along the height of the building and to the various lateral load resisting element for the following buildings. In the code 2002, he gave the two categories. The first category is the for the regular building and second category is for the irregular buildings. In the regular buildings, he told us those greater than 40 meter, that means those buildings that are greater than 40 meter in height in zone 4 and 5, and those greater than 90 meter in height in zone 2 and 3 can be modeled with the dynamic analysis. Now, if I will explain this point, if our building is in zone 4 and zone 5, that means the probability of the earthquake is higher in these zones, and but our building is regular, then we need to apply the dynamic analysis for building greater than 40 meter. But if the probability of earthquake is less in and our building is in the zone 2 and zone 3, then we can apply dynamic analysis above 90 meter. But in the case of irregular buildings, all framed building higher than 12 meter in zones 4 and 5 and those greater than 40 meter in height in zone 2 and 3. If you compare these two categories, if I compare zone 4 and zone 5 of regular building and irregular building, that means if a building is irregular, we have to apply the dynamic analysis above 12 meter. But if it is regular, we can go after 40 meter. Now, the comparison between these 2 points clearly show the importance of a building to be regular. Now, if we talk about the version 2016, it tells us that linear dynamic analysis shall be performed to obtain the design lateral force, that is design seismic base shear and its distribution to different levels along the height of the building and to various lateral load resisting element for all buildings other than regular buildings lower than 15 meter in seismic zones 2. Now, in the earlier years, what we used to do, we used to apply the dynamic analysis as per these two categories depending upon 2002. But nowadays we will apply dynamic analysis almost on all buildings. Just we left zone 2 buildings having height lower than 15 meter. The analytical model that we will use for the dynamic analysis should represent all the irregularities and unusual configuration of the structure so that building can be analyzed without any error. Now, dynamic analysis is classified into two types. That means these are two following types that we can use for the dynamic analysis. First one is the response spectrum method, and second one is the time history method. Now, the clause 7.7.3 of the code IS 1893-2060 says dynamic analysis may be performed by either the time history method or the response spectrum method. When either of the method is used, the design base shear VB estimated shall not be less than design base shear VB calculated. That means VB estimated should not be less than VB calculated using a fundamental. VB estimated shall not be less than the design base shear VB calculated using a fundamental period TA, where TA is as per the clause 7.6.2. Now, if I take you to the clause 7.6.2, it tells us this formula we will use to calculate the value of TA. This is the same that we have using for the static analysis. For the bare MRF frames, we will use these values. For building with arch structural wall, we will use this, and for all other buildings we will use that formula. Now we were talking about time history method and response spectrum method. Time history method and of analysis, when used, shall be based on appropriate ground motion and shall be performed using acceptance of dynamics. Now, this method is used when we have the appropriate ground motion data. On other hand, if we are talking about response spectrum method of analysis shall be performed using a design spectrum specified in clause 6.4.3 of 2016. In general, we maximum times we are using response spectrum method only. In the absence of the earlier data, we have using this method only. Now I will discuss about the base shear calculations. Now, the dynamic analysis may be performed by either the time history method or the response spectrum method. When either of the method is used, the design base shear VB estimated shall not be less than the design base shear VB calculated. This thing we have already discussed in the earlier part of the video, but one thing that should be, when VB is less than VB bar, the force response quantities shall be multiplied by VB bar by VB. This is for earthquake shaking considered along. First, the two mutually perpendicular plane directions x and y separate multiplying factors shall be calculated, namely VB bar by VB and VB bar by V in the x and the y direction respectively, and the vertical direction z, the multiplying factor shall be taken as maximum of VB bar by V in the x and y directions. To start with the procedure, the step 1 is, depending on the location of the site, identify the seismic zone and assign zone factor. This is the similar step that we have done in the static analysis also. Now use table 2 along the seismic zone map or annexure of IS 1893 to get these values. Now step 2, compute the seismic weight of the building as per clause 7.3 and 7.4. Seismic weight of the floors will be calculated afterwards. After that, we establish mass and stiffness matrices of the building using system of masses lumped at the floor levels, with each mass having 1 degree of freedom. In the next step, again using the mass and stiffness of the previous step and employing the principles of dynamics, compute the model frequencies and the corresponding mode shapes. After that, we calculate modal mass of the mode K using the following relationship, with n being number of modes considered using clause 7.7.5.4. Here modal mass mk of the mode K is given by mk summation I1 to n. Here n is the number of floors in the structure, but then wi is the seismic weight of the floor I of the structure, and phi ik is the mode shape coefficient at floor I in the mode K, that is divided by summation of the square of modal shape multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. In the next step, we compute modal participation factor Pk for mode K using the following relationship, with n being the number of modes considered. Now, mode participation factor Pk of the mode K is given by this formula. Moving to the next step, we compute design lateral force Q I K at each floor in which mode using the following relationship. Here ith floor in the mode K. That means if I say QIK, it is the design lateral force Q in the ith floor of mode K. Then design lateral force at each floor in each mode, peak lateral force QIK at floor I in mode K is given by QIK, AK, pi ik, PK, WI, where AK is design horizontal acceleration spectrum value as per clause 6.4.2 using natural period of oscillation Tk of the mode K obtained from dynamic analysis. In the next step, we compute peak story shear in each mode acting in the story I and mode K, that is given by Vik summation I j equal to I plus 1 up to n, that is Qik. In the next step, we compute story shear due to all modes considered in the calculation using CQC and SRSS methods. Here CQC is the complete quadratic combination and SRSS is the square root of sum of squares. In the next step, finally we compute design lateral forces at the each story level. The dynamic analysis containing lot of calculations and the method is bigger as well. So I recommend just go through all these steps with the reference of your code as well. In the next video, I will solve a numerical and discuss the same. Thank you.